Here's a game in which I was too impassioned to see clearly. And truth be told, it wasn't even the position that threw me off, but a knowledge of my opponent. Tate is one of the wildest chess players in the world. He's a brilliant tactician and a fearless lover of chaos. If you played Tate, you could pretty much count on the game turning wild at one point. He invariably guides the battle into sheer mayhem, and although his positions are not necessarily sound, they are in his style. Playing against Tate, there is no reason to force things because he will do it himself, often at the cost of the soundness of his position. He's the type of player who can lose to an expert and blow a strong grandmaster off the board. You just never know what's going to happen. In this game, as any Sicilian player can tell you, Black has an ideal position. I have the 2 bishops and a good potential attack on the queen side. The problem is that I knew the game was about to get crazy, and I was so pumped with anticipation that I couldn't find an easy solution when I had to. This game was played in Chicago in 1999. I had the black pieces. My last move was rook c4. Tate played b3, which set off all my alarm bells. What do you think? It turns out that this was the critical moment of the game. You'll notice that I'm not even under attack, but I knew that the position was about to explode into madness, and I also sensed that his idea was unsound. My chess intuition was correct. The problem is that the anticipation of the coming complications got me too excited to see straight. Pretend this position was in a tactics book. Black to move. What would you play? In this position, the tactics were easy. Rook takes c3 was obvious. Rook takes d4 was also very obvious. They're the most natural moves in the game. But I played the much more complicated move, h6. A terrible decision. I got too fancy. The point is that after h6, if he takes my rook, then I simply take his bishop. And when he moves, he shouldn't take because then I'll have a discovered attack. Then after b takes c4, Black has a tremendous position. His queen side is falling apart. This is great for Black. If he moves his bishop, I of course have discovered attacks. So his only real move is bishop takes h6. But now the key difference is after rook takes c3, he doesn't have to take back my rook, but he has the in-between move bishop takes g7. And this makes my life miserable. And that's what happened in the game. It's very easy to see this. It's an obvious move, bishop takes g7. But I was blinded by my emotional state. After king takes g7, he played rook takes c3. And now you can see that my position is very dangerous. I have 2 bishops for his rook and 2 pawns, but the decisive factor is my king on g7 is very loose. You can look at the rest of this game if you'd like to in the database. All that matters is that I made a mistake, gave him a big attack, which he took advantage of in the rest of the game. The critical moment is what we want to focus on here. I had an easy tactic, rook takes c3, but because I got excited by the moment where he played b3, because I sensed his coming attack, because I sensed that I had something decisive, my state of mind was muddied, and I missed the obvious move. Let's take a look at a similar example against the same guy.